welcome to this week's Dirt Shed Show with me, Martin Ashton, and look who we've got.
Hello, Martin. Neil Donoghue here this week.
Yes, and Neil, I have got you here this week for a very exciting conversation, stroke argument.
Yeah, I'm ready.
You're ready, are you? Well, I've got you in this week especially because we're going to talk downhill bikes because I've got a bee in my bonnet, okay, right? And it's based on a video you made where you were like, does anyone need a downhill bike? And it got me thinking about my next bike because I've been on downhill bikes recently because of my bucket bike situation, and I've been thinking longer, slacker, the whole bigger travel the better.
Yeah.
But I've started to think, right, they're a waste of time. They're a waste of time and money and effort. The downhill bike is dead. Dead.
Yeah, I mean, there's one. I made the video obviously, and I was slower on a downhill bike on a downhill track than I was on my enduro bike. But I did make a point in the video that it might be dead for me, but it's not for the world's best downhill racers. They will still be faster on a downhill bike. And if you look to World Cup racing, which hopefully we'll see some of this year, those riders would not be faster on an enduro bike. I'm sure of it. I would put money on the fact that they wouldn't, which means that at the top end, which those bikes are made for racing, really, they're not made for fun, they're made for racing. Those riders and racers would still be faster.
Wait a minute, that's a cop-out. That's a cop-out, right? I've got some questions, right? And you've got to answer these. You're going to have to take... Because I know you're kind of like, look, I don't need a downhill bike. You're riding a great trail bike. But I need you to defend the downhill bike right here, right? Because I really believe this is something we could just do without, okay? So I'm going to ask you some questions. You've got to answer them honestly, all right? You promise to answer these honestly.
Yeah, go on.
Right, first question. Are downhill bikes even selling? I mean, how many downhill bikes do you think they really sell?
Yeah, not many. I know, I've heard, I can't remember the official numbers, but I heard from a big brand how many, and it's, compared to trail bikes, it's very, very small number. But it's a small number of hardcore people that really enjoy riding them.
Can you tell me what brand it was you spoke to?
No.
I knew you wouldn't tell me. Right, all right, what about this one? What innovation in mountain biking are downhill bikes really responsible for? What have they done and created that we've now got that we didn't have because they're the Formula One of mountain biking? So what have they created that we didn't have before?
I mean, off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you one thing, but there definitely is. Because you see how some brands, like Specialized, their enduro bikes are definitely influenced by their downhill bikes and the suspension, kinematics and things like that. So they really are sort of fed down from their downhill bikes. So they have changed, and arguably enduro bikes have just copied downhill bikes because they have got very similar angles. Yeah, like I said in the video, even potentially slightly longer, maybe now on enduro bikes, but they've got the same head angles and all those sort of numbers we know from downhill bikes in the past that we know work. So enduro bikes have just caught up, really, with downhill bikes, I would say.
Right, I can tell you're starting to get defensive here, right? Okay, why are downhill manufacturers suddenly starting to make their downhill bikes in aluminium again? Why do you think that is, Neil? Honesty now, again, honesty.
I know some downhill racers prefer the feel of aluminium parts and components and frames. So it's not necessarily about because it's cheaper and it's easier, but actually some riders prefer aluminium bars or aluminium rims. So it does really affect how the bike rides. So I know people that do prefer aluminium frames. So I wouldn't sniff at it just because it's aluminium. Just, it's not carbon. Yes, it's not the fanciest of materials. It doesn't mean it's not really good.
I would put it to you, Neil, that the reason they have started making them in aluminium again, rather than all these brand new carbon downhill bikes we started to get a few years back, is that they just can't justify the cost of making them because no one wants them.
I mean, that would be interesting to ask a manufacturer that. They might tell you that's the case. I don't know. Like I say, carbon moulds, so they need a mould for every size frame. I know they are really expensive, and if they've got 4 or 5 different size downhill bike frames, they're not selling many of them, then that probably is a massive cost. Especially if the aluminium frames are really good anyway. Why would you do it?
All right. What about this? Exactly. Here's a big question for you. Are the downhill riders even the fastest anymore? I mean, are they even the fastest? I'm not sure they are. I'm not sure they are.
They are, definitely.
Are they? Definitely?
Definitely. Yep. I can't see any argument with that, especially now. I think they are. The fittest riders as well, I would say.
What?
Yes, the top level enduro riders are super fit.
No way! No way!
You look at someone like the fittest riders. Well, I would say the top level are as fit as each other, downhill and enduro. I would say that there's even an argument that XC riders have caught up with downhill riding skills. Different, but good. What have you been drinking, Martin? What are you on about?
Next question, all right, you might have won that one. Next question, what track are downhill bikes essential? Name me one track they're essential for that you couldn't do on an enduro bike. Fort
William. You could ride it, you would hate every second of it. Mont Saint Anne, you'd hate every minute of it. Val de Sol, Andorra, you could ride all of them. You could ride all of them on a freaking unicycle, but you wouldn't want to.
That's a good answer. What track can't an enduro bike do?
Well, like I say, it could do it, but it won't be as fast and it won't be as fun.
No, there's one answer to that question, Neil. There's one answer. All of them. All of them. Any track, anywhere. And what track can't a downhill bike do? Nearly all of them.
It will, downhill again will do them. It'll be pretty hateful for some of it.
Nearly every actual mountain bike trail that has got some climbing in it, a downhill bike just can't do it.
It couldn't do it. You might have to push bits, but it could do it.
Oh, well, there we go. I mean, what do you guys think out there, right? Neil did well there trying to defend. To be fair, he's not quite as downhill fixated as I'm trying to make him sound. But you did well there, Neil. But what do you guys think out there? Are any of you riding downhill bikes, and do we really need them? I mean, I'll be honest, I love watching the racing. They are flipping entertaining. They really are. But have they got any point anymore? I don't know. Actually, let's test it out. Let's go to the news and see if they even pop up in that. Over to you, Tom.
Welcome back to your weekly roundup of mountain bike news here on The Dirtshed Show. I'm going to start you off with some news that's dropped today. Fox have released some new suspension for 2022. What with the introduction of the beefy 38 taking care of things at the enduro end of the spectrum, the 34 can now focus better to cater for trail and XC markets. It's now a 29er only 120 to 140mm fork with a new chassis, including that new shape arch. It's got those air and oil channels that run down the back of the leg and an updated Evol air spring which can have progression adjusted using negative volume tokens which clip onto the air shaft. The Stepcast version gets the same updates too, but further focuses in on XC racing with a 100 to 120mm chassis and slims down to under 1500 grams, which is crazy light for a fork. They're also releasing a new Float X in both Factory and Performance Elite, which most notably features an indexed and numbered low-speed compression adjuster and different reservoir lengths per shock. They've also bored out the air sleeve, which means that there's a reduction in air pressure required by approximately 40 psi in comparison to the previous model. Less air equals less heat, and they also claim less noise from the damper too. The DHX receives the same low-speed adjuster and updates to the damper and main piston, and has some cool features to stop bottom out and top out. If you're after more info and a deeper dive into the Fox range for 2022, make sure you join Doddy on the tech show tomorrow. We are being spoiled for some amazing biking edits right now. If you haven't seen Chris Kyle's out of season edit, then you've got to check that out. We don't have any footage of it, but as you can see from these images, it's a masterpiece of creative trail building from the guys at Revolution Bike Park, as well as some killer drone footage, and of course, unbelievable riding from Chris himself. Not only that, but all of the X Games Real MTB edits are now live. We've all been looking forward to watching these so much. If you don't know, X Games Real Series is a video competition where riders team up with filmmakers to make an edit. But X Games are hugely popular, not just with people who do extreme sports, but with the general public who might have never even thought about mountain biking. So really, it's a showcase of the sport, where riders can show what it really means to them. Real BMX, for instance, is always one of the highlights of our year. At least once an edit, we see something we didn't think was possible, so it really drives progression. It's the first time that mountain biking is being featured, so everyone has gone huge to make a statement. With DJ Brandt, Brandon Semenuk, Vero Sandler, Brage Vestavik, Cam Zink, and Danny McCaskill flying the flag for mountain biking, there's some insane stuff in these edits. Watch them on the X Games YouTube channel now, and you can also vote in the competition for whose edit you think was best. A bit more tech for you now. Hunt have updated their trail-wide and enduro-wide wheel sets by changing the rim profile to better disperse forces across the whole rim, rather than just digging the hook. They've made their wheels considerably stronger and only marginally heavier. Most noticeably though, on the enduro wides, the front wheel is ever so slightly wider and flatter than the rear one, tailoring the front and rear wheels for the different jobs that they're doing, which is a nice touch. They've already been ridden to under 21 EWS Success by Jamie Evanson. It's cool to see that they've also got an option to buy a mullet setup of both the trail and enduro wheels off the shelf too. Right, that's all from me this week. Stick around until later in the show where Rick will be filling you in on all the latest news from the EWS, including an update on Katie Winston's search for sponsors. It's time for the sickest thing of the week now. Take it away, Toff.
Cheers, Tom. Hey, everybody. Right, so this week's sickest thing's a new video upload from Jeff Gulovich, simply called 8 Hours in Kamloops. Super sick. One of the things I really like about Gully's videos lately is they're just long, raw, unedited, awesome riding videos. Just really feels like you're there and riding with the guys. Right, so in this video, Gully's been hanging out with Matt Brooks, who's the Lone Wolf Productions guy, and he's also been hanging out with Jarrett Gatska. Now, if you don't remember him, he used to shred back in the day. Really famous. I think he was in like New World Disorder 6. Yeah, it's cool to see the videos kind of split up into like 3 different sections. You've got the first trail, which is the one with Matt Brooks. Super sick trail, super steep in areas, like crazy swoopy bits. Had that insane wall ride like halfway through. That was just like so crazy. Looks like a really fun trail. I'd love to be able to ride stuff like that one day. And then the second section of videos with this guy called Gus the Builder. I'm guessing he's a big trail builder over there. Super sweet trails, like just looks amazing. And then they just finished the day off with a super sick jump line in those trails that you always see in Kamloops videos. Huge jumps, super dusty, massive whips and stuff. So sick. If you haven't seen this video yet, I'd say it's worth definitely checking this one out. Right, it's time to go back to the guys in the shed.
Sick, Toff. Sick.
That was good, wasn't it? I like it. Thank you, Tom and Toff. Now, before we get into hacks and bodges, and we've got the bike vault, and we've got everything from EWS and much more, let's just take a quick break, but we're back in a moment. Right, hacks and bodges this week. I have picked some absolute bangers for you, Neil.
Yeah.
You're gonna love these.
I've just got into it. I've literally looked at the first one. This is Weeb Cube Acid. This is an e-bike, but it's a bit hardtail. Every time I was riding rough terrain, my chain came off, so I made a chain guide.
Pretty cool.
I don't know what it's made out of. Well, that's a good idea. It's used, that must be like a front mech mounting bolt, a bit of a weird position, and then something on the motor.
Yeah.
That looks like it probably works really well.
Yeah, it's a clever use of that little bolt. I'm really hoping he hasn't like tapped the frame and put that bolt in there, but I don't think so. I think that might be a front derailleur mount. Although being an e-bike, would it have a front derailleur? Probably not.
No, I'm being stupid. No, it wouldn't. Yeah.
No. So I guess that's just it. It does look like a little bit of an indent in the frame for something. It's probably for a mudguard of some kind. But I think that's quite cool. That's as good as it gets this week. It starts to get a little bit gnarly now and out on the fringes of what you maybe should or shouldn't do, okay?
Wow.
So next up, we've got Mateus, all right? Now, this looks awful, okay? But
Correct.
Think of Mateus's situation. He's gone out on a ride, his pedal's fallen off. And basically, he's got to get back. It's snapped off. So he's come up with this ingenious idea. It's like he's attached the pedal to his foot, and now he can put his foot on the little axle that's sticking out on the pedal arm. It's gross,
but it did the trick. Yeah, I mean, you have to push.
Clever solution.
I mean, definitely a bodge. I mean, we're sure of that at least.
I do admire the odd bodge that sort of like the ingenuity kept the day going. Yeah. And it is boom zip ties material for Doddy there. So I think it's quite clever. Nice one, Matez. Thanks for sending it in. Next one, similar idea. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on this one, Neil, because I don't know what I think about this. It's from Brent. He's basically attached a toe clip to a flat pedal, you know, like an old-fashioned toe clip.
Yep.
Your thoughts?
My honest thoughts?
Yeah, I only ever want Neil's honest thoughts.
I mean, why the fuck would you do that? I don't know, Martin.
So you can't see yourself trying this out, because that looks like I've got to be honest, right? I've never ridden clips before I needed them to keep my feet on the pedals. I never rode clips, and I'm kind of like, well, that's sort of going to give you a bit of that vibe. I could still move my foot around, which I would like.
They look like very grippy pedals. Look at the pins on them. I mean, this looks like something Blake should try. Definitely.
Yes. That's a good idea. Like, is that as good as clips? I don't know. I think that's not a bad idea from Brent, actually. But I tell you what, you're the expert here. Let's let you decide who's best. Is it Brent with his crazy clip pedals, Matthias with his even crazier clip pedals, or back to the normality of Veeb with his chain guide? It's up to you. You're giving away a GMBN race top.
Well, I would say Brent, have a look at what riding shoes you're wearing, because if they're not gripping on them pedals like they are, get some new shoes if you can. I would say Veeb has got to be the winner this week. It's quite ingenious the way he's made that front guide. So yeah, well done to Veeb. I think he's got a winning jersey.
Well done, nice one. If you've got a hack or a bodge out there and you can see how wild and crazy it can get from the ones we looked at this week, then send it in to the GMBN uploader. We'd love to see it. We did have some really wicked ones this week, but I like the ones out on the fringes, the ones that are a bit crazy. They're good fun, but I think Neil and Doddy, those guys, they want to see your technical genius, so send them in. Neil, have you been over to the GMBN shop recently, or have you got one of these? I don't know, I got mine in the post the other day. Look at this new GMBN windbreaker.
Yes.
How cool.
I've got one. It has been deployed a few times recently. It's been very cold recently, so I've been in the woods with that. Yes, definitely.
Big old GMBN logo on the back. Love it. That is over in the store at the moment, so grab your opportunity if you can to get over there. I don't think they're going to hang around long, so head over to the GMBN shop and get yourself one of our windbreakers and much more if you think. Why don't you fill the old car up? You know, why not? Go crazy.
Hello Dirtshed, yes I can confirm that Katie Winton has unveiled that Moxie 11 racing setup. She's going to be racing on Nuke-Proof Giga with a full suite of SRAM components, Michelin tyres, Crank Brothers and Troy Lee Designs also helping out there. Now, it's a massive undertaking to take on the full Enduro World Series by yourself, but it is worth bearing in mind that riders outside of the traditional team structure have done well in the past. Think notably of Noga Karem and Ella Connolly, both getting on podiums in previous seasons, so it'll be interesting to see what Katie can do this year. Also in the news this week, we've had confirmation that Jared Graves is going to be paired up with Casper Woolley for Yeti 1-Up components. Now, this is very, very interesting. Casper Woolley made a bit of a name for himself in the last year or so with some big results. The Squamish native has been paired with Graves, and Yeti are saying quite openly that this is a mentorship. You only have to think back a couple of years to a certain other rider that Graves mentored, Richie Rude. He became a double EWS champ, so definitely be worth watching that one. Finally this week we've got the announcement of the Juliana Free Agents squads. Now this is Tanya Neighbour and Rafaela Richter hooking up. Richter, really a rider of note. She's a former under 21 EWS champ. And what's key with Rafaela Richter is that she's never actually raced a full season of Enduro World Series because she's focused on her studies. This is going to be her first full year of taking it seriously, and I mean, we've seen in the past she's run Isabel Cordurier really honest and gotten on podiums before. Also, worth checking out EnduroWorldSeries.com to take a look at those Juliana bikes with intense suspension. Some really interesting looking stuff going on there. I'm looking forward to seeing those bikes at the races. That's it from me. Hopefully back next week.
Right, caption contest, Neil. See last week's photo. Blake looking pretty cool. That's a pretty good jump. Where's that? Wind Hill? Is that Wind Hill bike pack?
Got to be the step up.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like he's just stood there, but we all know that's jumping in there. It's kind of like a Superman where he's stuck on the handlebars. I like
It's
it.
pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Pretty clever. I like that one. He's looking pretty mean, and I've got that helmet. Just came the other day.
Very good.
Very pleased with it. Very pleased with it. Bright orange, just like that one. Our winner, hands down, or should I say upside down, it's Andreas Upside Down takes the win this week with, what did you say about hardtails? You want to go, buddy? You want to go? I think that's the look Blake's got in his face. So, Andreas, you are the winner this week. You get yourself a GMBN mug. Well done. If you'd like to play along this week, in the comment section down below, here's the photo. Give us your caption for that, and yeah, you might be winning yourself a GMBN mug, or better, next week. Who knows? I might put up a different prize. I kind of make it up as I'm going along, to be honest, Neil.
Cool.
But yeah, let's see what you guys have got for that. Right, let's dive into the bike vault. I'll tell you what, Neil, it's a little test. Let's see how many times the old downhill bikes appear in the bike vault this week. A little bit of a barometer of how much they're being used. Let's do a tally as we go through. Okay, first up, we have got Florian's custom giant rain.
Good looking bike, the Rain. He's got his seat post on backwards. I used to do that occasionally back in the day, not for a while though, so you get your nice little angle on the seat for that sort of bike. Makes it a little bit shorter.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Just to get your saddle a little bit nose up for riding like a parky bike or hitting jumps, just helps a little bit.
I see why that would happen. Yeah, that's good. That's clever. That's clever. It's a very cool bike. He gave us loads of details, actually. Lots of details about the bike, which is nice. I like that. Yeah. Great looking bike. It's super nice for me.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'll go with that. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Boom.
Right, next up, we have got a sneaky little hardtail here from Alexander.
Yeah.
What is that? That is
Salsa Timberjack brand, spanking new in League City, Texas. Look at the dropout on it. Maybe it's probably you could probably change the dropout to have like what do you call them? Horizontal for single speed.
Oh yeah, that's a clever little design. Yeah, little attachment at the back there. Nice. Nice. That's nice for me. What do you think? Nice. Next up, we've got, this is a very clever framing of a picture.
It fits absolutely perfectly. Look, you couldn't
Unbelievable, isn't it?
You couldn't get a better sized bike to fit in that hole.
This is James's Trek Remedy, and he has wedged it in there beautifully. I gotta be honest, right? I really like a Trek. I was talking to Tom Bauer, our newsman, the other day, and he was saying he finds them a bit boring. And I was like, I don't. I think they're cool. But what are you thinking, Neil?
They make some lovely downhill bikes.
They do. They really do.
Look, have you seen what James has said? He said, I broke my 2 arms. Sorry, I broke my arm 2 years ago. I read that as he broke both his arms. So anyway.
Oh yeah, my heart went then. Oh god, broke. And as you said, it also described it as if someone might have 3 arms. I broke my 2 arms, leaving one. It's very worse. Anyway, James, we're glad you haven't broken any thing since your arm 2 years ago. And we're giving that Trek, Neil, a
nice.
Oh, yeah, playing with us. Next up.
I love this. Check this out. This is proper retro. This is a Timex titanium frame, but look, it's got the Pace. Was it RC35 fork? Looks amazing.
Yeah, look at that.
Look at the DCD chain device. Had one of those.
Yep, me too.
Titanium saddle. Didn't have one of those. Couldn't afford one of those back in the day.
Too much money.
Stem. It's posh. That is.
Everything. Bar ends. Got the lot. Don't love the bar ends, got to be honest, but it is proper banana bar ends, so I quite like that about it. That fork though, it's always so cool. Just British so cool. Super nice. Yeah, super nice. Bye.
Yep. Yeah.
Easy.
Love it.
Next up, I don't love these bikes. It's from I don't know if this is Sean or Scion. I'm not sure. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Let's say Scion. I'm not sure if it is Sean.
I would guess it being Sean. Snowdonia.
Oh, right, Sean.
Welsh.
Okay, yeah, I'm going with that. Yeah, because it's a Welsh name. This is in Snowdonia. I should know this, yeah, sure. Okay, this is a, what is it? A Marin Wolfridge. Ever rode one of those?
Yeah. No, 2009. I had some of those forks, I believe, the 36 RC2s back in the day. It had that funny, like it's got a kind of bolt through quick release with these things I used to push over. Not had those for a while.
I find it hard with the down tube being lower than the rear triangle. That kind of over. Arch over the top there. It almost feels like it would need an idler to make it make sense. It's very strange. Anyway, well, it's nice for me. It's nice.
It's 12 years old now. It's not quite retro, but it's 12 years old. And Sean says it's Enduro before Enduro was invented, which I guess it is.
Well, that's true. And a downhill bike. No, we can't go more because I don't love it. I can't go more. Nice. Sorry, Sean. Sorry. It's nice though.
I've skipped on to the next one. More retroness. How many times have you seen a Bianchi mountain bike? I haven't seen many in my time.
I'm sad I've seen it this once. I got to be honest. The colourway, Samuel, that's something to be desired. I bet it's cool to ride because it does look pretty retro, but actually, it's only 2005. It's not that old.
It kind of reminds me of a Santa Cruz Blur. What was it? Blur 4 Cross? Was it Blur 4 Cross? I had one back in the day.
Yeah.
It was. It looks similar sort of. This obviously isn't quite as nice, I've got to say, but it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's hard to pull off the old gold paintwork, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if that was stealth, it would probably look a lot cooler. So just an idea there, Samuel. It's a nice bike. It's very nice. How many downhill bikes have we had so far, Neil? None.
Martin, who picked the pictures for the bike vault?
It's irrelevant. I couldn't find one, I tell you. Right, next up, this is Fiona's Kona Process. This is cool.
4-fart.
I like this a lot. I like this a lot.
Yeah. That's cool. Look at those sort of greeny rims. Pretty cool,
yeah. I think I like the lines of that bike a lot. I do like a small frame as well. I think it always looks cool, makes me think sort of trousery thoughts. I love it. It's a super nice for me, Neil.
Right, nice one.
And we're out of the bike vault on that one, and not a single downhill bike. Love seeing your bikes. Let's have a look at a ride from you guys, see if you're sending or failing. Look out for some triple camps. Are there any in there? I don't know. Let's take a look.
Be on the jump. Oh.
I nailed it. That was great. You messed up.
Yeah, you got this.
Whoosh. As always, some massive fails, but we did get some tens as well, so nice one.
Yeah, definitely. Love seeing your ride. And remember, if you're sending in your bike vault, your fails or your sends, your hacks and bodges, or just anything you want to show us, broken parts of you or your bike, then send them into the GMBN uploader. There's a little section for each thing, so you can just send it in, put it in a little folder, and we'll get to take a look, which we love doing. What would be your favourite thing to look at in the folders on the uploader, Neil?
I sometimes go into the fails just for, to amuse myself.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, we rarely show them these days because they're so gory, but I do still love the body bin. So if you're sending those in, I'm still looking. Right, thank you very much for watching this week. Neil, well done defending downhill bikes. I put you on the spot there, but I think you stood up to it pretty good. You did pretty good. Let us know in the comments down below if you think downhill bikes are finished. You know what I think. And give us a like and a subscribe and hit the old bell so you get notifications of all our videos. And generally, love GMBN, maybe over on the shop. But from me and Neil, it's goodbye. I'll see you next week.
Cheers, Mark. See ya.